pictures, and Bibi said to me here at the Chateau Marmont, nothing ever happened for any of us from that film. And I said to Bibi, Bibi, don't give up. This is a very long gestation. We're talking about evolution here, and it's not going to happen like that. You know, in a way you'd say, okay, this is a picture, one of his pictures, no, to Ingmar Bergman. And so we arranged for him to call me at my home in New York, in the West Village, at 58 Morton Street. And he and Ingrid came to see me. And I watched them arrive down on the flats in Beverly Hills, and they looked like Bullet Man and Bullet Woman without their helmets. My culture was comic books. And they came and we talked, and he talked to me about doing theater with them.
Interesting touch, the sonic touch of the buzzsaw that appears twice during the aggressive sexual scene, and then when she goes back to the apartment, it's completely along. Someone's sawing wood, you know.
Woody Allen had written and mentioned that. I mean, in terms of what's going on internally. So that's representing a kind of angst. We were 2.5 weeks into principal photography, and I was secure in playing him, but I had no confidence in me, and I didn't know I was so transparent. And Ingmar said to me, you've gone beyond your limits, and you'll have to live more to understand what you've done. And he called me on the phone. He said, no, little brother. And the hair on the back of my neck stood up. That was about it. And I thought, I would talk with a puppy like that, or with a baby, and I can trust me with him and him with me. And in my impulsive way, although I'm quite instinctive, I said, sure, I'll come along. And that's how it began.
Did this script ever become a script, a real script?
No, wouldn't you call that a real script? I mean, everybody knew their lines, except for me, because I didn't have as much experience at that time, but there was no improvisation. Everything was what he wrote, and Ingmar being there. The only time he was going like that was in that scene with the 5 pieces. He knew exactly where he wanted to put the camera. He knew exactly the composition of the scene and how he worked on it. And like I said, there was no coverage. And he and Katinka, his assistant, and the continuity person, Bibi and Max Fonseca, it's just so perfect. Ingmar had said to me, I mean, if you think he's good at movies, wait till you see him do Peer Gynt all 5 hours straight through. The guy is just beyond belief. He's so amazing. And then we embarked on making Ingmar's picture, which is semi-autobiographical in terms of his relationship with his last wife. And so I called the studio back and I said, what if I did it for nothing? And they said, you mean for the love of it? I said, oh, well, yes. And so I did, and which was incorrect because the union wasn't happy about it, but I was able to do it. And he had said to me prior to doing it, he said, we'll build a fucking machine where there'll be like a piece of wood that'll be sort of standing up and the camera will be looking up at you. But when we did it, we didn't need the machine, and he did it in 5 pieces without coverage. The entrance, her entrance, 5 pieces for the scene. The last piece being that intimacy and the culmination of the touch. And he then asked me, and I thought we really nailed it because we really took quite some time in setting it up, making sure, because the camera was so close, and you had to be able to see the two of us. And then after we did it, and I knew we had nailed it, he said, "Do you think you can do it again?" We broke for lunch, and Ingmar took me aside. I think it may have been the only time. And he said to me, "I'll never mislead you," he said. "I can't mislead you, and I never will." He said, "I need your eyes to be open in the scene, and your eyes are closed in the scene, and I think the reason your eyes are closed is that you're afraid that you can't give me what you think I want or need." And he said, "I need your eyes to be open, because even if there's nothing there, that's what the scene's about, for me to see where I am," which was the best direction I'll ever get. How to deal with his artists. And he's the only one that I've ever known who talked about us and the actors as his artists. And he would test every piece of property and test every bit of wardrobe in terms of color. And he then said, "So is that, but when the artists come down and start to bring life to this, I can concentrate simply on the people."
Does he flesh out the backgrounds of the characters?
I was never involved. He wrote this and then he sent it to me. I know that in the scene where he's showing Karen, BB's character, his picture book, and there's snow coming down, which was, you know, a bit of make-believe snow, and when he points out his mother in it, that's his mother. And again, I notice he straightened everything that he does. There's nothing arbitrary. That's his mother. I know that in the last scene where my character says he's changed and talks about pain, there was a plane that went over, and I was very gratified with how that part came out during production. And Ingmar had said to me that he had to loop it, but that he was reassuring me in the most sensitive way that he wouldn't give up any of the quality of it, and that for me to trust him. I can't think of anyone that would be more trustworthy as an artist or a craftsman than the one and only Ingmar Bergman.
That's a great ending, Elliott. Thank you very much.